Ring that bell, Tony.
Welcome, everybody.
Okay, start over.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 2 of Aggressively Speaking. My name's Tony Dabrowski.
I'm Troy Frank.
And welcome back to our podcast. First of all, before we get started, on behalf of myself, Troy, and John, I'd like to thank everybody for the support on the debut episode of Aggressively Speaking. I had a ton of people tweet at me and say that it was a great listen. They enjoyed John, they enjoyed Troy, they enjoyed our chemistry.
Yeah.
So,
round of applause.
Thank you so much.
It was a great debut episode, but today, now we really got to get into the muck of how shitty our team is.
Ring that fucking bell, Tony.
So-
the Detroit Lions have made another fucking error.
2 quick taps.
So we have a wooden sword here, and we have a little bell.
Little ring bell.
Yeah, this is our... whenever Detroit,
I think that's actually called a Chinese symbol.
it's a Chinese symbol.
Yeah.
Well, this is our bell for when Detroit sports teams done goof. So Lions, this is for you.
And they got done goofed hard.
Lions, this is for you.
Damn.
Dude, they deserved that shit. So you want to tell them what they did?
So Troy didn't want to start with this, but I kind of forced him to.
Well, I didn't want to start with it because it would take up the entire episode.
I spent 3 hours on the radio today talking about this.
Exactly.
I asked him. He was talking about that before, and I was like, "You already talked about this stuff for 3 hours. What else do you?"
And he wants to go another hour.
Full of sports. I feel like you could easily.
That's true.
It's a big topic, though.
It is.
You know, at the time of recording this yesterday, Mrs. Ford announced...
Just call her Martha. She doesn't deserve.
Let's be respectful.
Oh, are you a Mr. Gora's fan too?
Mr. Gore's. I have a Mr. Gore's story that we'll talk about later. So Mrs. Ford announced yesterday she had a secret little meeting with the beat writers for this team.
And this is after her midfield little touchy-feely with Mr. Patricia.
Apparently a 20-minute conversation, kisses on the cheek and stuff like that. Yeah. It was announced yesterday that both Bob, Quinn, and Patricia will be back in 2020. Martha Ford then released an open letter to the fan base this morning and basically talked about, this season hasn't gone the way no one wanted it to, but...
She even acknowledged the fact that it was the popular decision to get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so you just want to be the smartest person in the room, it sounds like.
We know this will be an unpopular decision, but we see a foundation being built. We saw one being built before the injuries happened, even though they were 3-4-1 when Stafford was healthy with the worst defense in football.
Yeah.
Oddly enough.
You have your good quarterback and you still have a losing record. What does that tell you? It means your whole roster sucks. Get out of here.
And, they basically said that they're coming back for another season under the condition that they are playing meaningful games in December and they are going to be a playoff contender next year.
Wasn't that the condition back in August?
That was the condition when they hired Patricia. And now all of a sudden we're talking about rebuild and all this jazz. So people already know my stance on this. I just think it's a complete joke. But
this is nuts.
What are your thoughts, Troy? I haven't actually heard... I know your thoughts, but I haven't actually heard you talk about it yet.
This is absolutely nuts. I mean, this is now the third
It's so typical.
This is the third rebuild that Stafford's been a part of. He was drafted into the first rebuild. He had a second rebuild during the middle of Jim Schwartz's era. And then this is now the third.
How many?
And he's like 34 years old. How old? Yeah, he's 34, isn't he?
He's
or 33, something like that.
31, 32.
Oh, okay. I thought he was a lot older than he was.
No.
But yeah, he's still in his 30s. That's way too old to be in a rebuild.
He's got the back of like a 60-year-old now, probably. I mean, it's not good.
He's got the back of however old Tony Romo is.
Ooh, I don't know, Jim.
Stop that, please.
You don't like my Tony Romo impression?
I don't like when Tony Romo does his Tony Romo impression.
That was my reaction when I saw the tweet yesterday. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I was expecting it to happen. Like, I went to the Pistons game on Monday, and I took my buddy Tyler.
Yeah, you're having a lot of fun at those Pistons games.
Too much fun. We'll talk about that later. I took my buddy Tyler, who was one of the co-hosts of the Pride podcast. Who yeah. We were talking about it. He was like, "So, do you think they're coming back?" And I'm like, "I'm expecting it." He's like, "Yeah, me too." And how ironic, a day later, the news drops.
When we're discussing how terrible of a decision this was, do you want to discuss what the Pride podcast and other news sources have?
I mean, it ties into the whole
reason.
It ties into the whole reason why we think this is such a bad decision. Other than the fact that I've seen nothing from Bob Quinn or Matt Patricia to believe that they can turn this around next year.
So, I mean, the first one, which your buddy has brought light to, is Akeem Valles, right? Velez. There we go. It's very Spanish. Okay.
At least I think that's what.
I don't know. I've heard Vales a lot.
I've heard Vales. One of the other co-hosts, Malcolm, shout out Malcolm, he said Velez, so I just kind of rolled with that. But continue.
But from what he says, it sounds like Martha shouldn't be the one making this decision.
Hi, I'm Martha.
Introducing herself, I mean, admittedly, to a guy that we didn't even know existed. But still, introducing yourself 10 different times to the same person?
She's 94 years old. She probably can't remember most people's names, let alone the fourth-string tight end.
And at 94, I bet she probably doesn't really know what's going on within her organization. And if she's the one making this decision to bring them back, that's a problem in itself.
Apparently, that secret meeting with the beat writers yesterday was Martha, Sheila, and Rob Ford, I think. Man. Rob Wood, excuse me, not Ford.
I'm going to be really scared for this franchise when Sheila takes over.
That's not going to be any better. Like, you got all these reports of the Amazon owner.
Yeah. Bezos.
Yeah, apparently those are false, so.
Yeah. And
it's going to Sheila. Like, we all know this.
And if there's a team that Bezos is going to take over, and I heard this on 97.1, it's the Redskins. Not only just because of, fits.
The NFL needs to get Dan Snyder out.
Yeah. And not only is it just because, it fits football-wise and, organization-wise, but it's Washington, D.C. If there's any place that Bezos wants to kind of take a stake in, it's D.C.
I don't want to get too much into this, but I hope he does buy the Redskins because, first of all, you need to change that name. It's about to be 2020, and they're still called the Washington.
So what are they going to be, Washington Amazons?
Not the Redskins. That is entirely terrible.
John, what would be a great name for a Jeff Bezos-owned football team?
The Scammers.
All right, let's keep going off of that.
I'll mute again.
Aggressively speaking, let's trash Amazon. So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, let's move on from sports. Let's get
why are they scammers? No. But yeah, I mean, the Fords, despite popular belief, they're not going to sell the team.
Yeah.
We can hoot and holler, sell the team all we want, take as many flags to the games.
Maybe, do you think, what's his name, the owner of the Cavs would be interested?
Dan Gilbert?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like, if not.
They're not going to sell the team, though.
I feel like.
You think Sheila's going to sell the team? When she's already got her name attached to everything?
Yeah, what are they going to rename the field? That's true.
Amazon Field. Scammer Field.
Amazon Prime Plus Field.
Oh fuck no! That'd be aggravating. Thank you guys for the 15th annual Amazon Prime. Dude, I was at this monster truck rally one time, and it was promoted by America's Best. And every time they brought up what the event was, they had to say America's Best haircuts and something.
Ugh.
Monster truck rally.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a mess.
That sounds backwood as shit.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, the Fords aren't going to sell. Patricia and Quinn aren't going anywhere. A lot of people were tweeting at me throughout the past 24 hours and saying it is possible for a quick turnaround, which it is. But
if you had the right people in place to do it,
I don't trust Bob Quinn or Matt Patricia to be those guys. And
you want to talk about
go off the Hakeem Velez quotes about how Patricia's trying to implement a culture of fear. And
Yeah.
in his words, Bill Belichick on steroids. I mean, it's just like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing here?
Oh my goodness! I mean, the fact, and then you pair it with Glover Quinn's quote too, about
Which
how
one? He's got like 10 of them.
well, his newest one about how it seemingly they took a roster that was just like a couple moves
Pieces.
away,
Which is
and
not
you,
wrong.
yeah, and you decide to go backwards, get rid of a bunch of guys that were imperative to that team,
He's not
and then
wrong.
just bring in your own guys that
Yeah.
you know that worked under a Bill Belichick scheme.
I mean, Glover's not wrong. Like, this team didn't need to be changed, you know? They were a
It didn't.
9-win football team.
Yeah, I mean, 9 wins consistently is pretty hard to do
Back-to-back
in the
years.
NFL. Yeah, I mean, you know, some teams just go up and down all the time. Like,
Well, now the Lions were up, and now they came crashing down.
yeah,
Jim Caldwell, back-to-back 9-win seasons, gets fired. Matt Patricia hired. 2 years, 9 wins. Coming back for a third year.
yeah. I mean, we're not old enough to. I mean, maybe I can't speak for you, but I'm not. I haven't been a football fan long enough to really remember the Rod Marinelli, Steve Mariucci days.
I wasn't young. I was still kind of young.
Yeah, and I kind of know how those went. I mean, other than the 0-16 season, but you know, I know how those went, and this feels similar, very eerily similar to how those teams were run. Both with the coach in Marinelli and Mariucci, and with Millen.
The first year I watched Lions football was the 0-16 season. I was 9 years old, so I don't remember much.
Yeah, mine was the 07 season because when they drafted Calvin Johnson, I got on board.
But like, you know, someone reached out to me on Twitter, a longtime follower of mine, shout out Sam. He DM'd me a couple days ago, and he was like, "Is this like the least interested you ever been in the Lions?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm just so ready for the season to be over with from the standpoint of, like, from the time the season ends, the regular season, to the Super Bowl, there's no Lions talk. I'm ready for that. Like, I just want to watch real playoff football. Like, I'm so sick and tired of this team. From the 2 0-1 starts, the Kansas City game, the screw job Green Bay game, to being 3-4-1, having all the injuries happen. Patricia looked like a disaster. Bob Quinn's draft picks look like a disaster, and now this. It's just like,
Yeah.
I'm so done.
I mean, the rebuild portion of this team isn't even going to be fun because you know it's going to be Bob Quinn and Patricia messing everything up.
That's
like-
why I'm kind of worried about
Getting Chase Young.
this off season. Like, Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia know their seats are like, their asses are on fire. Like, their seat is that warm. Bob Quinn's going to have upwards of $50 million cap space to spend. He's going to have a top 3 draft pick. Like, you know they're going to make win now moves, and if this doesn't work and they do get fired after next
They'll
season,
ruin the franchise for the next like half decade at least.
they could legitimately turn into the Pistons with Stan Van Gundy, like the Blake Griffin trade.
God.
Blake Griffin was traded to Detroit. Stan Van made that trade to save his job and make the playoffs. They did make the playoffs, and Stan Van got fired, and now we may or may not be stuck with Blake Griffin. We'll talk about that in a second here. But, like, that's what I'm afraid we're about to do with the Lions. Like, if this doesn't work, we're in trouble.
We are.
To the point where we're probably going to have to trade Matthew Stafford.
Oh, I mean, I'm kind of on board with that idea now anyway. Just so that you don't have to face the music down the line. I don't want to get to a point where you have a very injured Stafford making big money and you can't do anything about it.
Well,
I'd rather kind of go off that selling point of he still has maybe, a couple seasons left in him.
We're not doing that this offseason, but I'm saying, like, if this falls flat at this time next year, then next offseason we can be like, yeah, if you're going to rebuild, just trade him.
I just don't know if that'd be the right time for it. What if he gets injured again next season?
Well, they
Then
can't
it'd
trade
be
him now.
No, but you can maybe trade him in the offseason when he's cleared to play.
They should not trade Stafford right now.
See, I think it'd be waiting too long.
It's a win now season. You're going to trade your MVP quarterback who...
I thought they're in a rebuild. That's what they've been saying for the past 4 weeks.
It is, but not now. Now they're in a win now mode. You would not trade your MVP quarterback in a win now stage. That would make no sense.
But in the NFL, you can have a one-season rebuild.
If Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia went into a win now season with a rookie quarterback, it just proves how stupid they are. Like, that would just be asking to get fired.
Yeah.
Or be asking for another year.
Well, I mean,
they don't have that luxury. Mrs. Ford, excuse me, already said we want to be a playoff contender next year and play meaningful games in December. Whatever that means, I don't know what the hell it means.
See, I think that just proves how dumb of owners that they are. Because I think that this would be the perfect time to fire them and start fresh. New quarterback, new coach, new GM.
If they were good, if the Ford family was a good owner, would fans be going to the games with sell the team flags with Martha's face with her sunglasses smack in the middle of the flag?
Yeah, but that's the point, this would have been the right time to do a fresh rebuild. But they don't want to do that. They'd rather have a win now season next year, which is just going to be borderline impossible.
If it works, cool. I'll admit to it that I was wrong. If it doesn't, I'll come right in front of this microphone, my WXOU microphone, and my camera and be like,
in my Steelers hat.
Hey,
No, just kidding.
I'll be like, hey, hate to say I told you so, but now we're stuck. Now you're going to have to trade Stafford.
Yep. Now we're stuck in a perpetuum losing mentality, just like we used to be before Schwartz and Caldwell came in. So, now what?
They're going to get fired if they don't win next year.
For sure.
It's determined.
That's what they've already made that clear.
If they miss the playoffs next year, they are getting shot out of a cannon.
If they stay and miss the playoffs. Like, if they miss the playoffs and then they get to keep their jobs.
A fourth year? That's when I'd be done with this franchise. I'd be like, okay, you're clearly incompetent. I'm going to go.
It's possible, though. With this ownership? You don't think so?
After making the comments that Mrs. Ford did.
Playoff contenders. Didn't say playoff team.
Apparently.
You just have to go 7-9, 8-8, and you can keep the job.
Apparently, no. There's one of the beat reporters that was at the meeting yesterday asked a question about that, and apparently the answer was, no, we mean like 10, 11 wins and get to the playoffs, Not like 7-9, 8-8, 9-7, and back into the playoffs.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, they want to be a good football team next year, not just back in. They want to have them earn their playoff spot, not kind of back into it,
I just do not think that this is the right call. I don't either. I think you're burying a deeper hole for yourself. You're not, this is the perfect time to get out of the hole, not keep, shoveling.
I agree with you, but I'm the asshole on Twitter, so. This is the guy.
What can you do? This is the
guy Lions fans gave a platform to. Talking about me.
Yeah, You did come into prominence during the Caldwell era, so
people were digging up my old Fire Caldwell tweets yesterday because I was talking about like how 9-7 wasn't good enough, which it wasn't back then.
No,
but
you're not Bob Quinn. You can't do anything about that.
If simply being a playoff contender was the expectation, then why'd you fire Jim Caldwell?
Yeah,
Like, he's
objectively a better coach than Matt Patricia.
I don't get the playoff contender quote from Martha. What exactly does that mean? You hired Matt Patricia to take you higher than just playoff contender.
Mm-hmm. Jim Caldwell was a playoff contender.
As crazy as this sounds now, they did hire Matt Patricia to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And now, 3 years in, we're talking about, oh, no, just be a playoff contender, play meaningful games in December. It's like, what? No. Well, then why'd you fire Jim Caldwell?
I feel like those credentials have been on the list of every Lions head coach hire that we've ever had. Just play meaningful games in December. Try and make it into the playoffs. That has literally been every single head coach's requirement, except for Matt Patricia. When they hired him, they wanted him to win a Super Bowl. But he was the only coach that we've hired to do that.
Patricia got 2 years to apparently rebuild the culture, even though the culture was fine to me. But
yeah, in fact, the culture has probably gotten worse because now players don't want to play for him, and they're penalized like crazy when Caldwell was actually really good about keeping that down.
I always talk about this on Trash Talk and my Twitter. For every Trey Flowers, Danny Amendola, and Devon Kennard, who are clearly Patriot Way guys, there are guys like Darius Slay and Quandre Diggs and Glover Quinn,
And I think
who-
Stafford to an extent.
Stafford's a quarterback. He's going to back up his head coach.
True,
but for every Patriots way guy, there are guys like Big Play Slay, Nino,
Caldwell
JQ
guys.
that are outspoken about how much they dislike what's going on here.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know what happens when you speak out? You get cut. You get out the door.
And those are the best players. I mean, the only way for the Patriot way to work is to have,
Bill Belichick.
well, yes.
Let's be real here.
Yes.
The Patriot way is Bill.
But also a deep roster. And if there's anything that these 9-10 injuries have shown, it's that after
9-10.
the first
They got 20 guys on IR.
20, yeah, you know what I mean. After all these injuries, all that's doing is proving that we really only have a first string team, if that. Even our first string, the first couple games of the season,
Well,
I mean, they were all right.
I mean, when
They did
people
all right.
when people use the injury excuse for why we were so bad this year, I point towards the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, they don't
their
have.
their Hall of Fame quarterback got hurt. They lost James Conner for a while.
How about this?
Juju Smith-Schuster's still dead. They're still in the playoff hunt with a third string quarterback.
How about this? The Pittsburgh Steelers went from Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Juju Smith-Schuster to literally all those guys being gone.
Duck Hodges is their starting quarterback right now. James Conner just came back, but for a while they were rocking with Benny Snell.
Yeah,
And Jamie Samuels, I think is his name. Jalen? I don't know.
yeah.
People know who I'm talking
Samuels.
about. Yeah. They have rookie Deontay Thompson at wide receiver, and across from him is James Washington. And they're still in the playoff race.
I don't even know who. I can't even name any of those people.
The New Orleans Saints, when Drew Brees' thumb exploded, they went undefeated with Teddy Bridgewater. And right now they have a bunch of injuries on the D line. They're still going strong.
Yes, the same Teddy Bridgewater that couldn't win in Minnesota at all.
Well, before
this
before his leg exploded.
Yeah.
But
you know what I mean. It's like
yeah.
they can do things.
different situation. But Tennessee, they bench Marcus Mariota because he blows. Ryan Tannehill steps in. They're
It's
still
actually not that different of a situation.
They
'cause
benched their starting quarterback. He didn't get hurt.
Tennessee is the AFC Lions, I would say, except they did it right. They did what the Lions tried to do.
Hire a defensive guy. Sign former Patriots, and they're actually
And build a deep roster. And, Tennessee did it. We couldn't. And I think, you watch Tennessee, and that's what you should have had.
Yeah, like you look at Pittsburgh, who's dealing with injury. Every team deals with injuries. And when you deal with those injuries, it really shows how much depth you really have and what your GM has actually done.
Yeah.
Bob Quinn going from this team going to 3-12-1 this year just shows you how much talent this team really lacks.
Yeah.
And that falls on your GM. That's one of the reasons why when people ask, why don't you like Bob Quinn? Well, this is one of the reasons why. Like, you look at other teams, they're not falling apart completely because of injuries.
Yeah. Other teams can build rosters. This guy can make 1 or 2 good signings a year, and then the rest are absolute garbage. At least good signings at the time. That Trey Flowers signing was fantastic when we heard about it. And
Well, Trey Flowers has actually been pretty good for the Lions. I would use Jesse James more.
True.
Jesse James is a perfect example. That one was a swing and a miss.
I feel like that's more of a credit to how he's been used, though. I feel like Jesse James can be
But at
effective.
the same time, Jesse James, when he's gotten targets, he's kind of dropped the ball a lot.
I mean, we're kind of used to that with tight ends. So,
Oh yeah. Hi Eric Ebron, how are you doing?
how's it? What's up? I know you're watching every single Detroit Lions thing ever imaginable. So, what's up? How you doing?
But it's just a mess right now. I have no confidence in this current regime that's going to be fixed, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah,
I mean, they have talk about an interesting offseason though. Like we mentioned already, $50 million cap, top 3 pick probably. Apparently, hold on to your hats for this. Patricia is coming back under the circumstance that he has to make staff changes, a.k.a. Paul Pasqualoni is going to get shot out of the cannon.
Sayonara, Boomer.
Paul Pasqualoni, 90-year-old Paul Pasqualoni is going to get shot out of a cannon. Which, is that going to help much? Not really. It's still Patricia's defense and scheme.
How's that name for you, John? Paul Pasqualoni.
I was laughing at when you said, "All right, Boomer." That is a stupid name too.
Paul Pasqualoni is like 90 years old.
Oh.
All right. Should I take it back?
No, not at all.
Keep it on the table. All right. No problem.
Not at all. In fact, double down.
Cool.
Oh my god. So yeah, we can expect to see staff changes. Paul.
Yeah.
Probably, hopefully, the entire training staff, medical team, conditioning team.
Those guys need to get legitimately fired out of a cannon into a brick wall.
Paul Pasqualoni, him getting shot out of a cannon of sarcasm. The training staff needs to legit be in a cannon and just Patricia light the match, go poof.
Maybe plug the hole on the other side so that they just blow up inside the cannon.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness gracious.
That was not a threat. That's just being funny.
No, definitely that.
That was definitely a threat. Here, you might want this in case people come after you.
All right. Fight me, slappies. Right.
Like, we can expect to see defensive changes, staff changes, period. Like I said, along with the $50 million cap space and the top 3 pick.
Now,
Which, the top 3 pick will be fun to talk about come draft time, especially here, but like...
I did hear a quick
trust-
I did hear a quick rumor that the guy that we've been trying to get this entire time with losing Chase Young, he's going to go first pick. That's what I'm hearing. He's going to go first overall.
I haven't heard that, but I mean,
Well, I'm hearing I've heard that the Giants, who currently don't the Giants have the first pick of the Bengals? That's right.
They're going to take Joe Burrow, number 1.
Well, I heard that they're not liking Joe Burrow as much as they wanted, and that they might go defense instead.
It's so early to talk about that. I mean,
it is early, but that's just rumors and stuff that are already coming up about it.
Rumors. Anywho, it's going to be a really interesting offseason.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
yeah,
I still don't have much confidence. But
now, okay, I wanted to discuss this, seeing that we're celebrating the rehiring of their general manager, Tony. You just got hired as the Lions general manager.
A little bit of role play. Here we go.
I hate this topic so much, but Troy wants to do it.
Why do you hate it?
He
just doesn't like role play.
He hates it. I don't want to be someone else. I'm Tony.
I hate the idea of like playing charades. I just want to talk. But go ahead.
Well, no, because this isn't charades. This is more of these are all somewhat hypotheticals.
John laughed as soon as you said GM Tony.
Because I started thinking about you role playing it, and I was excited.
See, John wants to hear it. So
okay, go.
Okay, what is your first move in the off season? First, just official move.
Fire everyone on the training staff.
Okay, that's a good start. Now, you go into the draft.
Well, free agency comes first, but I don't know. I don't know who the free agents are, so I really can't help you there.
You don't know who needs to be re-signed? I want to say it's.
I haven't looked at the free agent class yet.
I think Taylor Decker is up for.
He has a 5th-year option, which I think you have. I think you have to pick it up now, but like.
I wouldn't. But that's why I'm asking you.
So then you're going to draft a left tackle 3rd overall?
I don't want to draft a left tackle.
Well, you're going to have to replace Taylor Decker.
Yeah, and I'm
With
sure
who?
I'm sure a backup could probably do it. Taylor Decker's not been playing all that great.
Oh God, that's why I hate this game.
Well, I'm not.
Forget free agency because I don't know who's available, who's got a 5th-year option or not. So let's just
get
go.
Eric Flowers to come back and come back into the league and take over.
This show's
for Taylor
over.
Decker.
Goodbye. Let's go to the draft because it's already mock draft season. Todd McShay released his
Mel
first mock
Kiper's
draft.
real excited. His hair's standing up on its own.
That made John laugh.
Dude, John's just cracking up for no reason at all. He doesn't know what's going on.
I'm here for the analogies. That's all. I'm here.
Mock draft season.
So
Todd McShay's first mock draft, he has Lions at 5th overall taking Jeffrey Okudah from Ohio State, cornerback.
Okay. Now, how do you feel about that? You kind of disagree. I mean, obviously Chase Young's the guy.
I mean, like, the Lions are going to need a corner because they're going to trade Darius Slay. Like, it's known at this
That's
point.
official, yeah.
So, if you want to take Jeffrey Okudah 5th overall, go right ahead. The guy I like now.
I don't like taking corners in the top 10 though. That's just me.
I don't either.
It's like a tight end.
Not really.
No, I mean it's like drafting a tight end
Taking
in the
a
top 10.
corner,
I'm not saying a corner is like a tight end.
Taking a corner top 10 is very, very risky, but it's not like a tight end.
You don't think so? When was the last time a top 10 corner really, really like worked out?
Denzel Ward, like 2 years ago with the Browns.
That's been
4th overall.
beneficial for him.
He's like one of the top.
I haven't heard a single like peep about him.
Because he's a Cleveland Brown. Let's be real here.
I know, but I've heard a bunch of like noise about Odell and Baker when he was healthy and good.
The Browns are a complete dumpster fire that we'll talk maybe later on.
Maybe during like draft season.
Maybe another day. But taking a tight end top 10 is different than taking a corner. I
think it's just as much of a risk, but
all right. Well,
that's just me. Go ahead with your opinion.
Right here, right now, my player that I like, and obviously we have to wait till the combine, pro days, and stuff like that. But I like Derek Brown out of Auburn. He's a D tackle, SEC Defensive Player of the Year. I think he'd be perfect on this team. The Lions obviously need help on that D line. Derek Brown's a guy who can get pressure. He's good at stopping the run. I mean, he's perfect.
Now, if I was like a Matt Millen type, I'd be really interested in that wide receiver that's supposed to go top 5.
Which one? There's 2 of them.
There's 2 of them? Mm-hmm. I'm talking about
Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee Lamb.
Oh God, no! I don't want to take a wide receiver. 4th overall or whatever.
What? I mean, we already got 3. Why not make like a 4?
Dude, they need defense.
Like a 4 deep wide receivers.
They need defense. Dude.
I know. I'm playing Matt Millen right now.
Oh God! So you're Matt Millen on Bob Quinn. Nice. Where's my unironed dress shirt?
That's wrinkly at like you slept in it.
There you go. I hate this game.
I know. It's.
He said, "I know, John."
I know you hate it.
I was having fun.
And honestly, we should probably touch back on this game a little bit later. Yeah, this was probably
when
the
draft
wrong time.
season comes along. I think it'll be fun to do like a little mock draft.
Yeah, a little mock draft, and then maybe go into free agency knowing what the mock draft will be.
Yeah, I like that idea. It's still too early now. Hey, we got to focus on Denver.
I mean, how do you feel about these people that say that they need to stay competitive?
It's a bunch of baloney. Momentum doesn't carry from season to season.
Yeah.
It's a false narrative.
Yeah,
like people last year who said, "Oh yeah, whooping the Packers' ass on week 17 is going to really help this team going forward." No, it's not. It didn't help them against the Cardinals. They tied.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it did, honestly, because I mean, tying is a lot better than what they're doing now.
Not really. That one tie might hurt them, but
I'm just saying, as a competitive standpoint, tying's a lot better now.
Like, I had people call me out on Twitter for wanting them to lose out. Believe it or not, it's like, yeah, what's the problem? Like, at this point in the season, I'd rather lose than win. Because winning just hurts your draft positioning.
Hey, this is a pure hypothetical, and this might just be, I mean, this is a stupid question. What would happen if a team went 0-0-16? I just thought about that. Like if they tie every single game of the season.
I don't think
do they like sit right in the middle, or do they?
They never won and they never lost.
They never won and they never lost. They only tied.
I don't know, but that just hurts my head thinking about it. But like, yeah, what does winning do anything at this point? I also don't give 2 rats furry asses that they're being competitive right now. Like, I don't care.
I don't even think they are.
In the open letter today, Martha mentioned how competitive this team has been this year. It's like, dude, they're still gonna be 3-12-1. Like, they're losing. I don't care.
I think they just stopped all outright trying as soon as Stafford went out. By the way, speaking of Stafford going out,
what? Oh, you want to bring in my conspiracy theory?
I do.
Yeah, a lot of people think I am stupid on this, but I think it's really ironic that Matthew Stafford was placed on IR and after the news broke that.
I think this holds a lot of water. I think you're onto something
it's
big.
So ironic, isn't it?
It is.
Like, they placed over 20 guys on IR before Matthew Stafford, and when they were asked why they weren't putting him on IR, they said, out of the respect of his competitiveness, we're going to keep the door open for him to return. The second the news breaks that they're both coming back, IR. It's like, you have to be kidding me.
There's no way that's a coincidence.
Not
a single chance.
Tony, you're overreacting. You're a moron.
Are they saying that, yeah, it's not a coincidence, but we don't care? Or are they saying it is a coincidence?
I said it can't be a coincidence, and there's something up here. And, you know.
But what are they saying about it? Because I want to know why they're mad.
They think I'm a moron, which half of Twitter does.
But why? It's like, are they even explaining why? Or is it just regular Twitter where they just call you names and don't say anything why?
And a Thanos meme.
Yes.
No, it'd be more Kermit. This is Detroit. This is Detroit sports.
Oh yeah, so they still use the memes from years ago.
God,
shitty.
But no, they're just like saying I'm stupid and stuff like that.
Oh.
They don't think it's a coincidence. They're like, hey, Stafford's on IR. Why is this a big deal to you? I'm like, because something's going on here.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. The second...
It's not that they put him on IR. It's that they didn't.
Timing.
It's that they didn't for the longest time.
And the timing of it just reeks of smelly fish.
Yeah. What happens if they never got confirmation, you know? Are we seeing Stafford in Week 16 and Week 17? That's what we're worried about, not the fact that he is on IR right now.
And that's something we'll never know the answer to. This is just us speculating. But, like, dude, it's so odd to me.
It is. It's very scary to think about what would happen if we were going to fire them and what we'd see them do with this roster in the next coming weeks.
I don't know. It's really, really, really weird.
I really wonder if their whole plan was, let's see if we can injure Stafford even more since we're on our way out.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I thought that's where you're kind of going with that, because that's what I was thinking that they were trying to do.
I was thinking,
I thought they were thinking, like,
my original
if we're on our way out, we're taking this franchise with us.
That's not what was happening. My original thesis was, if they never got confirmation that they would be back before the season ended, they would have brought Stafford back if he could play to kind of reinsure confidence that with our starting quarterback healthy, we do have a direction. But apparently they got confirmation anyway about that. So that's when they then placed him on IR. That's my conspiracy theory, but
oh, yeah, mine's a little
Tony,
bit more.
you're a moron.
Mine's a little bit more psychotic and out there.
What is yours is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Were they trying to
We're getting fired?
Stafford?
Screw you, Matthew Stafford. We're gonna ruin your career. I think that's a pretty crappy thing. But
yeah, I mean, but they're crappy at their job, so I wouldn't be too. I don't think it's going too out of the way to say that they would do something like that. Well, maybe they might be good people.
Anywho, it's like I said, it's gonna be really interesting.
Patricia seems like a nice guy.
I mean, Hakeem Velez said in my mentions, he wasn't talking to me, he was talking to someone who was talking to me. Like, someone was like, I'm sure Patricia's a good guy, but yeah, I don't believe in him. And Hakeem was tagged in the tweet, like a reply, and he was like, yeah, Patricia's a cool guy. I'd have a beer with him and talk about family and life. But inside the facility, it's a different story.
And he's doing his job. He's an absolute monster.
He didn't say those words. But
that's what it sounds like.
He's implying that he's a different guy inside the building, which we kind of know that to be the case now. But oh well. Anywho, that's enough Lions talk for me for the day. I've spent the entire day talking Lions. I'm sick of it. So let's talk about the Pistons.
Dude, we go from a topic that you spent all day and are now getting sick of it to a topic that we can probably spend 5 minutes on before we start throwing up.
Because I want to talk about fantasy football, so we're gonna make this quick. So the Pistons are in the news lately because they're, I don't know the exact record off the top of my head. But
I mean, not only are they kind of treading water here with an injured Blake Griffin.
He's back tonight, by the way.
Oh, cool! Can't wait for this 2 games before he's out again.
Him and Andre are playing tonight, and Andre apparently has some Kareem goggles.
Why?
Because
He got eye problems.
the reason he's not playing is because he had an allergic reaction to avocados while in the Mexico City game, and his eye is like effed up. Like it's not good. Apparently he thought he was going blind or something like that. Like it was a really bad situation. You don't want to mess with allergies, people.
No.
But they're both back tonight, but still. Now that the Pistons are kind of trending in deep water here, it's starting to seem more and more like the Pistons are going to probably look to sell at the trade deadline. It's still really, really early, but you got reports of Andre getting trade interest from the Dallas Mavericks. The reported hypothetical deal from Woj included Tim Hardaway Jr. being in the trade. I know that's something you wanted to talk about.
Why is there air quotes? Isn't Woj a pretty reportable size?
It's a hypothetical tweet and report, and it's December. Like the trade deadline's in February. We still got a long way to go.
True, but I mean, big trades have happened a lot sooner than the trade deadline.
Woj also reported that we could see trades sooner rather than later, but I don't think the Pistons are going to sell until they absolutely know, we can't win. So
I think it's pretty clear, though. I mean, they haven't made it back to 500 yet. Blake can't stay healthy.
Before the Blake injury, I thought they were going in the right direction, honestly. But now we're back here.
Yeah.
But before,
honestly, last year was the time to sell, even though they were doing good. Yeah. Was it not? You had everybody playing.
Looking back
well.
Looking back at it now, maybe. But
I mean, did you really think it was only going to get better from there?
I thought they'd be better this year. Yeah.
Obviously, you're bringing in an injury-prone Derrick Rose. Blake Griffin had the season of his career, but he was already pushing. He's already going down as far as age. He's already hitting that declining years.
It's clear that knee is still bothering him, the one that he tore his meniscus. So
yeah, and I think
looking back at it now, maybe it should have been the right decision to rebuild in the offseason, but nothing you can do now. But
the fact that they were striving for the 8th seed already was kind of... I mean, everybody was excited. Yeah. Okay, we got Pistons playoffs, but it's the 8th seed. There's no reason that you should continue.
Making the 8th seed last year was acceptable. This year, no way. Absolutely not. And it's looking like they're going to be that 8th seed contender again, which if that's the case, then you can't do it again.
I mean, do you think this team as is could possibly squeak into like the top 6?
No way.
Not top 6 positive, top 6 draft picks.
Oh.
My bad. I didn't phrase that correctly.
I mean,
like, do you think they could bottom out?
I don't know. The bottom of the league right now is like a trash bin. Like you got the Knicks, the Warriors, the Hawks, the Cavs, who still have like 5 or 6 wins. So
that's true.
But the NHL and NBA draft lotteries, it's such a screwy system. As long as you get in the lottery, you'll be fine.
No, I'd say you'd have to get into the top 8.
Lakers had the 11th best odds last year. They shot into the top 4.
It's the Lakers.
Oh, so you're saying it's rigged? Okay, Troy.
I'm saying that.
Conspiracy theorist Troy over here.
Listen, I'm not saying that it's rigged for them to get like the top 3 pick, but I'd say because it's the Lakers, the Knicks, and the Celtics, I think that they get a little bit more favor.
If it was rigged, the Knicks would have won the lottery and they would have gotten Zion, not the Pelicans. Just putting that out there.
I'm saying they get a little bit more favor. I'm not saying that they outwardly try to rig the entire system because that's just blatant.
Okay. I completely disagree that it's rigged, but anywho.
Fight. See, I don't want to... I don't know what you... That's just an unfair fight right there.
Let's just get the boxing gloves out. Let's go.
Good. Yeah, I'm all for it.
John's always up for a boxing match.
John's ears perked up like a dog. Boxing match?
No, they were just sitting there already perked up waiting to hear it.
No, I mean, if you outwardly tried
If the Pistons want to bottom out and start tanking, then maybe they could get in that top 6 range. But now the roster they have, no way.
Other than my conspiracy theories aside, wouldn't a team basically need to get into the top 8 in order to have a real chance at the top 3?
No, because, again, Lakers, despite your conspiracy, they were 11th.
You're picking the outlier.
No, it's happened before, even in the NHL too. I've told you about how screwy their system is.
Oh, the NHL, anything could literally happen. It's not like every team might as well have a 20% chance.
That's how the draft lottery works in both sports, though. It's just it's ping pong balls. Like they just have to bounce funny in that stupid little bowl, and you get a top 3 pick.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like the first pick always ends up. Or the worst team in the league always ends up at like the 3rd or 4th pick.
I'll say this.
And somebody in the 6 to 8 range always ends up with the first pick.
I'll say this. It would help the Pistons to be in that top 8 range. Yes. But my point is just get in the lottery. That ping pong ball could bounce either way. You never know. It's a lottery. It's a lottery ticket. So
and I do think that speaks volumes to how this team's going, that we're speaking more about the draft coming up than playoffs.
Yes. That's why I'm kind of leaning towards them probably selling at the deadline, which means if they're not going to re-sign Andre, you have to see if you can get something for him.
What can you really do with Andre Drummond? Other than
just
fork over cash or just get rid of him.
There's reports already coming out that they might not be able to get that much for him, but something's better than letting him walk out the door for nothing.
Yeah, I'd honestly be okay with a bag of chips.
Signed sneakers.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that yesterday.
Bag of chips. That's funny.
Other names, Langston Galloway, apparently he's getting interest already. There are reports that he could net you a 1st-round pick, believe it or not.
Langston Galloway?
He's like one of the top 3-point shooters statistically in the league right now.
Oh, you're talking about like a 1st-round pick from like the Nets or
the
like
Sixers.
A team that really needs that just one extra little tiny shooter.
The Sixers.
Why does that make you kind of roll your eyes back in pleasure?
Because I hate Philadelphia, but they're also the perfect fit. Philadelphia needs shooting. Langston, give us your first.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you need that shooting to make up for Ben Simmons.
Hey, he's been nailing a couple threes recently. So
Oh, was he like 3 for 4 in the entire season now?
he's probably like 3 for 100 in his career. But again, it's still kind of really early to talk about Pistons and trade deadline, but
they're already talking about it, so
Yeah.
we might as well do it too.
Yeah. But I could care less right now. I want to talk fantasy football.
Hey, if they want to get Tim Hardaway Jr., I like Tim Hardaway. He's a nice dude.
He's under contract for next year too. I mean, I'm not sure.
And he's kind of a shooter.
That's not much of a rebuilding move, but
It's not. Yeah, it's not. That's kind of like we want to stay competitive, but we need to get rid of this guy kind of thing. But, I mean, I like, if they want to get another shooter on the team, I'm up for Tim Hardaway a little bit. But it's not going to happen.
I could care less.
It's not going to happen.
Honestly.
Dallas doesn't want a guy to clog up the paint like that.
That's why this trade doesn't really make a lot of hypothetical sense for the
For the Mavericks, at least. It would make a lot of sense for us.
You have one of the most fun offenses in basketball. Why would you trade for someone like Andre to just kind of
Here, let me
clog the paint?
Here, let me hold on to the basketball for 15 seconds and then do a turnaround J and miss.
Yeah, like I love Andre, but but it's the truth. I mean, I don't know why Dallas would do that trade, but I don't know. Anywho, I know you want to talk about this. I do too. Screw the Pistons. Fantasy football.
Yes. I mean, I don't know how much this is going to be entertaining for everybody else. It's not in our league, but we want to talk about our fantasy league.
Yeah, so we're in a fantasy league right now. I just can't beat you on accident.
You can't beat me? Get the hell out of here.
I was pointing to you, and I kind of gave
Hey,
you.
you know what? Do that. And then maybe someone can cut that into a GIF, and then now you are the new Camby.
Honestly, if you just get a live photo of it, turn it into a GIF now.
Dude,
I'm going to
dope.
tell people when I quote or leave the link to watch this, I'm like, I can be Troy. Watch to find out.
Oh, you're just going to clickbait the hell out of this whole podcast?
I was going to say, we're just going to go that route. Okay. Whatever.
So Troy and I are in a
All right,
fantasy.
John, we only want clickbait titles from here on out.
I gotcha. I could make some good ones.
Tony shows his blank. Let's find out what it is.
Nude sportscast?
Tony shows his wood.
That's good. Tony shows his stiff wood.
Okay. That's enough out of you. So yeah, we're in a fantasy league. I'm playing for a championship this week.
I'm playing for the first pick.
These next 2 weeks. Troy is playing for the top pick, which he's going to get because he broke the system.
I mean, come on. It's the real way to tank, even in real sports.
Play
Just
nobody.
forfeit.
I wish you could show the camera your lineup for this week.
I probably could.
It's literally nobody.
John, is
You
there,
bet I could show the camera.
dude,
What's up?
John, get over behind the camera, zoom in on my phone.
I got you.
Yeah, Troy's tanking. I'm trying to win a championship.
Show me what you want to do, and then I'll go forward.
So,
Sorry about this pause, everybody.
So while they get that set up, let me tell you about our screwed up fantasy league. So
How's it screwed up?
we have 3 wide
The
receivers.
fact that you have literally every single good player in the league.
Hey, it's not my fault. I'm a good drafter and good trade guy.
Okay. I mean, if we dedicated our entire lives the way you did, we'd be pretty good too, admittedly.
Ready?
Yeah.
That's
You
Troy's
see,
team.
you see this bullshit? That is how I'm getting the first pick, everybody.
Let me just see if I can really get this.
Not good.
It's just a little dark.
Yeah, that's
Oh, damn.
tanking 101. Oh, Troy's phone locked. Nice.
Here we go.
Look at that.
Jesus, John. Right.
I heard the of the phone lock. Look at that, if you can see it.
Literally benched my entire team. I did. We play two-week playoff
It's
rounds.
a good strategy, though, because one of my other fantasy leagues, I got eliminated this past week. So
Yeah, you get the first pick regardless.
I'm not going to get the first pick. I'm going to get, like, the third pick.
How? If
I
you
was-
lose
I
both
was-
your playoff games, don't you get the first
No,
pick?
I was in the playoffs last week.
Oh,
I made the
gotcha.
playoffs.
This is the second round.
I made the playoffs. Yes, I
Gotcha.
lost. So I'm going to get the third pick.
Okay.
But here's my team going into the championship. I have Matt Ryan at quarterback, Zeke, Dalvin Cook, who may or may not be dead,
What you traded for?
who I traded for because Brandon's
Because-
the GOAT. I love you, Brandon.
Brandon, screw you. I'm sorry, but you are the worst.
Michael Thomas,
I love you, though.
Adam Thielen, A.J. Brown of the Titans, Jared Cook, Darren Waller, Derrick Henry, Patriots defense, Harrison Bucker. Going up
That's a
against
good team.
Cole.
You're going up against Cole in the championship? There you go. Cole, I hope my DJ Chark trade has been good for you.
He's hurt.
I stopped paying attention the moment I got rid of him.
He's hurt.
Well, you still owe me draft picks, buddy.
I owe Brandon my 6th round pick for Dalvin.
6th round pick for Dalvin Cook.
Well,
What
I
a
trade.
fucking
No,
steal that was.
I trade him James Conner too, who was a good young running back.
Yeah, but he traded him when he was hurt.
That is true.
Brandon, you can't keep showing your ass to Tony like this.
Me and Brandon go way back, dude.
I'm sorry.
Dude, Brandon, you can't be showing your ass to Tony like this. Me and him go way back. He's got the right.
He's got the right to just show me everything.
If Brandon wants to show his ass, he can show it. By the
just-
way, Starbucks, you're welcome for the free advertisement.
And showed our ass to Starbucks just now.
John had a look of disgust before he took a sip of his water.
Yeah, glad you weren't already sipping.
Yeah, I probably would have spit it right up on the mic.
Tony almost did it though. But yeah, my team.
What went
okay.
wrong with you?
Okay, so we play a dynasty league where we keep most of our team and then just draft. Well, we don't keep most of our team. We keep like our top 4 or 6 guys.
4. It was 4.
It was 6 this year,
Okay.
but you know what I mean. We keep like half of our team, then we draft the other half.
Yeah.
And we started this league back in 2016. I want to say it was.
Been a while.
It's like the 4th season, I think, that
It's
we've
been
had
a
the
while.
league. In the first year, I went 11-1-1, and I tied with Tony, which he's still kind of sour about. And
Because you were undefeated at that point,
I was,
and I tied with him.
yeah. And Tony,
He was like the Patriots in this league at the time.
Tony and I kind of switched roles because in that first season,
I was
Tony
terrible.
was like 4-7-1 or something like that.
I was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah. So after that, my team went 8-5, still respectable. I think I finished second or third that year. And then last year I went 7-6, and now this year I went 5-8. I'm getting worse and worse and worse as the years go on. I don't know why.
It's rebuild time for Troy.
And now it's rebuild. I got the very first pick in the draft.
Are you keeping anybody?
My team has the likes of Alvin Kamara, Todd Gurley, Kerryon Johnson, Deshaun Watson, and I'm on the fence about keeping Alvin Kamara and Deshaun Watson. I might keep one of them. I might keep none of them.
Which makes no sense to me.
How so?
Because those are two like franchise pieces that I would build around in fantasy, but
they are franchise pieces. Alvin Kamara less so though, because I feel like he dropped in numbers.
Offense?
He dropped in numbers. Yeah, in that offense, he's got to compete with what's his name?
I just got the chills talking about fantasy.
You're all in.
Aggressively speaking, let's just change it to the fantasy pod. Oh.
The fantasy pod. I like that. That's funny.
But he's got to compete for catches on that team
with my wide receiver.
With your wide receiver, because of
best
course.
Wide receiver in football. Shout out Michael Thomas. What a beast.
Oh no. I don't like the energy in this room.
Do you hear how long he breathed into the mic?
Oh, I heard it.
It's frustrating to hear Tony just name a good player and he's got him.
Dude.
I mean, come on.
My 4 keepers.
It's not even competitive.
My 4 keepers. I mean, you kidding me?
That's why I shortened it. It was 6 keepers, and then I shortened it to 4.
Troy was going to delete the league because
I'm not
of how
going
good
to
I
delete
was.
the league.
Would this be similar to like a Star Wars Battle Team game app, and he's got Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker on his team?
Yes,
basically.
and you have, and then everybody else.
And I've got Jar Jar.
Like literally, the choices were Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, and then Stormtroopers, and he got both of them.
And I've got just 100% a team of Stormtroopers and serial numbers.
Yes.
You got Jar Jar's tongue as your team logo.
Oh, jeez.
Tony, bring that mic up a little more.
There you go.
Up.
How's that?
Up. Not closer, but up. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Cool. That sounds better.
He didn't want to cover his face, though. That was the problem.
Yeah,
No, like
just sounds way better.
At WXOU, like you don't want to hold your mic too close, obviously.
Yeah, it's not a matter of how close it is. It's because that's directional. It's a heart-shaped pic. Whatever. Who cares? Just it's got to be like up more.
I
You know
got
what
you.
I mean?
I got you.
Yeah.
How do I sound now?
You sound great.
Okay.
You sound great as long as it's up.
Was I sounding good before?
Because honestly, if you,
I mean, we're like 40.
you sounded fine, but right
Okay.
then it started getting a little dull.
Okay. I hope I sound better.
Whatever. Keep going.
But
What was I talking about?
we were talking about Michael Thomas being on your team along with every other All-Pro in the
My
league.
4 keepers are going to be Michael Thomas, Zeke, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry.
Wide receivers and running back. I mean, if you have good running backs, that's all you need in the league, and he's got all of them.
I'll look right now. I think I have they're all like top 5. Zeke in our fantasy league is the 5th running back. Dalvin Cook is 2. Derrick Henry is 3. And Michael Thomas is the number 1 wide receiver by a long shot.
Who's not being kept?
So I'm not keeping Matt Ryan or Carson Wentz.
Ooh, wow. They're gonna go hot.
Adam Thielen's going to go. I'm going to lose him for sure. I'm going to lose the Patriots defense. I'm going to lose Lev Bell, Cooper Kupp.
People don't know this about our defense.
Oh,
About our
yeah. Troy
defenses.
juiced up the defense.
I
this
juiced up
past
the
summer.
defenses because, I mean, I don't know if you play ESPN fantasy sports or fantasy football in particular. Team defenses are useless. They're more useless than tight ends.
Team defenses are not fun to use.
They're not. It's like you could just keep the same defense in all season long, no matter which defense it is, and just be fine. So I decided that's not good enough. They need to be an integral part of your team. So I decided to juice up our defenses to the point where they are running back, quarterback tier. They can put up just about as good a numbers as any good running back or quarterback in the league. So now you got a good defense like the 49ers or the Patriots. They can now put up 20, 30 points a week, just like a running back.
Cold coffee. Continue.
But no, I mean, I've kind of explained the defenses pretty well. That's they are integral now. It's not just quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and everybody else.
You juiced up that defense.
Was it too much, do you think?
No, but at the same time, I think it's needing of a rebuff in the offseason again.
Yeah, you might have to. I mean, you might have to help me out on that then, because I tried to do that on my own, and that's the end result.
You want to talk about juiced up though? Our basketball league.
Yeah, that was a mistake. That was a total mistake. One guy in our basketball league can score 70 points a night.
70, dude. James Harden has had like 5 100-point nights.
That's nuts.
It's insane.
And I'm sorry. It's ridiculous.
Let me look up James Harden's recent game log in our basketball league, which we're not going to fix that until the offseason because it's fun how stupid it is.
Yeah, where we're scoring literally like over 1,000 points a week.
James Harden's last 6 fantasy games, 65, 45, 97, 110, 53, 41.
John, for context, in a normal league, James Harden would be scoring like 30 points.
What the
hell? It's juiced is a good term.
Yeah, juiced. I mean,
juiced.
If this is baseball, it'd fit even more, but yeah.
It's on crack.
Okay. But yeah, I want to go back to fantasy football because I want to talk about how this rivalry between you and Cole has been secretly developing.
Like,
and it's one-sided too. I don't think Cole knows about it.
I don't know.
We got this guy Cole. He's been pretty consistently good. The only year that he sucked was last year, and I think that was all he needed to get back in there.
These people don't know Cole personally, but we do.
We do.
You want to beat Cole in fantasy.
Yeah. I know Cole,
You're
too.
laughing.
I know Cole.
If you were into fantasy football, wouldn't you want to beat him?
I think
at all costs.
At all costs.
I think most people would, yeah.
There you go.
Well,
Troy decided to be a little snake and traded his best players to the teams I was competing against.
See, I'm rebuilding, so I'm trading away guys.
One of them was to Cole. I traded DJ
Chark.
He traded
at the time the second best wide receiver in the league.
He traded a player to Cole, so I responded to that by trading with someone else.
No, you're the real snake. No, we've already talked about this.
You're the real snake.
No, we already talked about this. He traded away James Conner and a sixth for Dalvin Cook. See, that's the real snake because I mean, he's already got all the good players, and as far as everybody else was concerned, Dalvin Cook was off the market.
What was your reaction?
I've even tried to, when I traded, like, Brandon really wanted Dalvin Cook in the offseason, so I traded him.
What was your reaction when you saw the notification?
I had Dalvin Cook in the offseason.
This is your fault. You didn't keep Dalvin Cook.
I did. It's not that I didn't keep him. I traded him before the draft.
But what was your reaction when you saw that I traded for him?
I felt like everything I did up to that point rendered useless.
I was texting to Troy that night. I sent him the Stone Cold like glass falling video.
And I sent him
as soon as I completed the trade. And he sent the Bill Belichick video.
Yeah, I sent the Bill Belichick one of him running as fast as he could into Ford Field.
Fucking Pistons swearing their shitty memes.
You should look it up. It's actually pretty funny.
It probably is.
This head coach is walking in like Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they even play the music in there. It's hilarious.
It is kind of funny.
But yeah, I'm playing for a fantasy title this week in 2 of my leagues. So,
well, when that's your entire life, I guess that's what you get.
It's all worth it if I'm able to hold that trophy. We should have a trophy for our money league next year.
Yeah, we are starting a money league. That's the one thing that I decided would get everybody more excited about the league, more active.
Yeah, I think with
that's the one problem with our league that we're in right now. There's 8 teams and only 4 of them are playing.
Yeah, So the money league.
And I'm one of them, and I suck. So I mean, what does that tell you?
If your team sucks, it's easy to say, screw it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pay attention next year for sure.
I mean, of course. Of course you will.
It's a given.
Yeah.
2 + 2 is 4. Tony's going to pay attention to fantasy.
Yeah. I'm definitely, I mean, I'm going to do everything I can to get back into that top 4 and hopefully create a team that's at least a year or two away from beating you. Tony, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen you do.
I yawned at you talking shit.
Damn disrespect. Troy's gonna go take a shit now.
I'm going to go take a shit in Tony's car.
I'm going to get into my car to record a video tonight.
And splat.
Ugh.
He's gonna be twice as pissed as he usually is. And you can't say why.
Yeah.
Holy moly, Tony's really mad over this minor thing.
Tony starts another video with a scream, but it's a scream of agony. Instead of let's go, it's oh no.
Oh, no.
No, it's just what the fuck.
All right, Pistons lose. Oh, what the fuck?
Gotta start the whole thing over.
He opens the car door up. Jesus Christ.
20 minutes later, after your face is already like glued gross.
I don't even want to talk about this anymore, but here we go.
You're just like, Pistons lost another game. I don't even.
I don't want to talk about it. Thanks for watching. I think that's a perfect way to end this episode.
Yeah, it is.
This was fun.
This was fun, and good luck in the fantasy draft. I'll be nipping at your heels.
I'm going to be the hunted.
Yeah.
Even if I lose to Cole, which if I do, you're not going to hear from me
I'm
again.
just going to be like literally WWTD. What would Tony do during the whole draft?
He did that for our fantasy baseball league last year. He still finished in like
second. What do you mean?
Oh, you got to the championship?
I didn't finish like full second, but I got the second best record.
But what did you do in the playoffs?
I wasn't paying attention by that point. What did I do?
I think you lost to Chelsea.
Oh, okay. Well, she was the third best team and only had one less.
What would Tony do? Applied to him in baseball last year. Now it's going to apply to football.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
which means
what would Tony do in baseball? A sport that I haven't been paying attention to in like 3 or 4 years.
Fantasy baseball is so stupid, but it's fun.
I know, but like think about this: what would Tony do to apply to a sport that I don't really even watch anymore? And I went from like basically hot garbage, like 2-18 or something like that, and then I went 12-8. So, I mean, that really did help.
I'm coming for blood in fantasy baseball, by the way.
Oh, I mean, okay. You're already like 15-5. I don't know what more blood you need to.
I need to win a championship.
Did you not? Oh, yeah, you didn't.
I lost.
Right.
I
lost to Chelsea.
I lost to Chelsea. Yeah, my stacked team lost in the first round.
Tony's ego's fractured just a little bit.
My life was ruined because of that. So, yeah, fantasy baseball will be fun. I'm coming for blood.
Dude, I really can't wait for you to like lose in fantasy football and then just be even more desperate to get a championship in baseball.
If I lose to Cole, you won't hear from me.
You're going to go silent on Twitter too.
He will deactivate his
I'll
account.
have to comment on every like question asking where he went. It's like Tony lost in fantasy. Don't ask.
With that, thank you for listening to episode 2 of Aggressively Speaking. John, thank you as always.
Yes, thank you.
I think we found the problem.
What?
I think airplane mode is the key.
Yeah, I didn't hear any of that
Think
noise
so.
this time.
Airplane
Round of applause for airplane mode, everybody. There we go.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you for listening to Aggressively Speaking. And
See you next Wednesday. Because we're doing our next episode on Monday.
He just cut off my intro, but yeah.
Our outro. Well, I wanted to pipe in there because people are
just end the episode.
Expecting to see us Friday. It's actually Wednesday.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.